going on, you dumb cumster divers?
Hey, man, just want to bring this to your attention,
What's up?
but somebody was fucking around in our email.
Really?
Yeah, could you check it real quick?
What's going on, man? What's missing here? Is there something missing, or is somebody like sending stuff out under your name?
All I know is I was watching my one computer and the mouse is moving around under its own power, and I had to fight to turn the shit off, like somebody's in there fucking around.
Or that could just be your computer's touchpad screwing up, because your laptop is it's old and decrepit.
No, this is a brand new
your
one.
ability to piss straight.
Yeah, no, this is a brand new one.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not seeing anything disappearing in your email, so we'll talk about it later. How's it going?
Sorry about that. Whew.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Unless you're seeing it like, I mean, if it's just like zipping around everywhere, it could be just a thing, you know.
Okay.
Especially like these sorts of things, like the magic eye mouses and whatnot. If you put it on the wrong type of surface or something, it'll either not register at all, or you just see the mouse jipping all over the screen like it's in like a mouse on crack or something.
Okay.
Hunter Biden's personal mouse.
I'm on the email right now in the other computer, so
That's all good. Well, keep an eye on it. How's it going, guys? Did you miss me? I missed you. And of course, I was all geared up for this week. And then yesterday, I woke up sick, so I'm remoting from home.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
A whole hell of a lot. That's why I got the mic over here. So if I have to cough or something, I can actually like turn away from it and not blow out your guys' eardrums.
All right, hey, give me 1 minute. I got to run upstairs and make sure that it's not really fucking, because I have another computer up there that's
all right.
Open. I want to make sure there's nobody in there fucking around on my system.
All right, you go right ahead. You know what I'm going to do then? I'm going to put on one of the pee-pee dances.
I'll be right back.
You guys love that shit. There you go.
You're a disease, and I'm the cure.
Sorry about that, Wild Man. I just get paranoid about that kind of shit.
You're a disease, and I'm the cure.
And one of the main reasons is when I was on active duty in New York, there were 2 different occasions where somebody had broken into the network and was screwing around on Army computers. And that was a big nut roll. We got CID in there and the FBI, and it was effed up. So I'm a little, trigger shy when it comes to shit like that. Because
it's understandable, especially in a day and age now where it seems like anybody can get access to your shit just by walking by you in the mall.
Yeah. And also, like, we are on the internet. We are pissing off half the country who are stuck in, liberal zombie land. And so, anything's possible. So it just is what it is.
Shit happens, man. But some real shit is coming down out of the White House and everywhere else. Like tonight's show is all about learning to spot blame and shame as it's being levied at us through the media.
You know what I would love to see is a 100-mile long convoy of manure trucks. They drive right down in front of the White House and just spray poop, because that's all that's coming out of that place. That would be, it's nonviolent. Get your point across. There's a little bit of innuendo in there. Yeah, sure, it smells. People get upset. Yeah, okay.
Or, failing that, We could do like the Simpsons movie where you got a bunch of grain silos full of shit, and you can paint the side of them to look like Pringles cans with Pop's face on it. And you drive by the White House, cut the chain, let them just roll and start spilling the thing everywhere. And it'll still be less shit shoveling going on to clean up that mess than it will that comes out of the White House out of an average day.
Yeah, listen, they've been feeding us bullshit by the shovel, by the truckload.
Oh, yeah.
Since the installation of the dictator in chief.
Oh, and he's tasted all the dicks. It's good times. Or at the very least, he's given him a good sniff.
Oh, my God. That's disgusting. I hate that.
Imagine that demented prick walking up to people. Hey, how you doing? Hey, God, oh, God, Mr. President. Oh, please. I wash with Axe, if you're wondering.
Nice.
Can't keep those unelected officials off of me. Whew.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
All right.
Let's check this out, though, man. This is what's really hilarious now is that now you've got a whole bunch of Democrats all over the country basically sounding exactly like Trump. Even Kathy Hochul from New York is like, well, you can immigrate, whatever, but just don't come here. We don't want you in liberal cities where it does nothing to change the vote. We want you in the red cities where we're trying to flip shit on its head so we don't have to blatantly steal elections again. That's what it's all about. But if you're the wrong color, the Biden administration has let in millions of illegal aliens, but it's deporting this German family that had been legally granted asylum to homeschool their kids.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, if you offer nothing and you're of military age and you can't really speak the language, but, you might blow something up once you come over here or traffic.
Come on in.
Let them all in. But if you're a family that's literally being persecuted by their government because Germany was not allowing them to homeschool their children because they want Marxist indoctrination, they want globalism. That's really the problem here.
Yes.
It's not because they're white. It's because they're Christian homeschoolers. You want to talk about two things that a regime that wants you to eat, live in the pod and eat the bugs can't fucking stand.
That's right. Listen, there's a reason they're trying to curtail our freedoms because they want to turn you into peasants. They want to turn the United States into some twisted model that's taking place over in China right now.
Yep.
And
Canada is kind of becoming the new model in the West for all that. And the
100%.
European Union, of course.
100%.
We need to go full Poland, as far as I'm concerned. We need to go full populist. And I'm sorry, but charity begins at home, and then you spread it out everywhere else. Right. Apparently, according to this administration, charity at home is the last thing on their minds.
Yeah, and listen, something desperate is gonna take place before 2024.
Yeah,
because they know that the polls are shifting against the Democrats in a radical way.
Oh yeah,
they're losing the minority vote, and listen, I don't know how many senators or congressmen have flipped from Democrat to Republican, but you can only stay in the stupid, retarded world so long before you're like, you know what, this is not really going anywhere good.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
And this is the gist of it here. It's the Romaiki family. They want to homeschool their kids, bring them up in a Christian education, but that sort of extremism is apparently illegal in Germany. Well, they did it anyway, and they faced fines of about $9,000 in persecutions, so they fled to America, and they found a home in Tennessee.
Okay.
An immigration judge initially granted their application for asylum, and it was the DOJ, totally not weaponized against people who stand against the narrative, by the way.
Yeah.
The decision, and then the Board of Immigration Appeals revoked their asylum status, despite the fact that they actually had a legit reason for coming over here.
Yeah, they did.
That they were suffering religious persecution. Gee, it's almost as if they have a lot in common with the people who actually settled this country. Can't have any more people like that. No. That was all evil colonizers who stole land, right?
I'm just trying to remember, what was the first was it Protestant that came over here, or was it Catholic?
I want to say yeah, I think they were Protestant.
Because I remember there was the whole Catholic Protestant bullshit going on in Europe and in in England for a good 200 years after Henry VIII wanted to like bang another bonus hole and wanted to grant his divorce.
Bonus hole.
Yeah, so what the hell? I'm just gonna, I'm gonna divorce her anyway, and I'm gonna burn down all of the Catholic churches and burn all of those priests at the stake because I want to hit a bonus hole. What a dick. But he did motivate a bunch of people to come here to the United States. So okay.
Don't you love how you and I are considered like just vile men? All right. But we've always referred to women as women or ladies, chicks, what have you. Accepted nomenclature that's not known to be, sexist or demeaning in any real way.
Yeah.
But the woke tards call them like uterus havers with bonus holes, and for some reason that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, who said that? Was that one chick from Young Turks who came up with it? I don't know if she came up with it, but I heard her saying it because I was watching somebody reaction video and she mentioned the bonus hole, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I mean, you could disagree with us all you want. We encourage you guys to disagree with us, especially when we're wrong. This is not a cult of personality in any way. All right, but
yeah,
we never literally broke women down to the sum of their parts.
No.
And now apparently it's woke to do that.
I guess so.
Amazing.
Well, I have been guilty of some pretty egregious locker room talk in my life.
Every dude has.
Yeah. Listen, we've all, in my mind, I have speed bagged thousands of sets of baby snack sacks in my imagination.
Yep.
All right. I've talked about it.
A piece of that. Yeah. Don't break me off a piece of that pussy right there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm Sling Blade when I'm doing locker room talk. Yeah, what you do there?
Yeah.
You want to break me off a piece of that? You see them two guys over there? One of them's peeing off a bridge. He said the water is cold. Fella next to him said the water is deep. What are you gonna do? Mm-hmm.
That's nice. I never saw that movie Sling Blade.
It's a good flick.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I just can't stand the dude's voice.
Oh.
I just want to kill the dude,
Just watch Monsters Ball instead. I'm not sure what's worse, his voice is Sling Blade or his ass in Monsters Ball. You pick.
Yeah.
Everybody was focused on Halle Berry anyway.
I mean, that voice is very similar to one I'm working on a comedy skit for failed seduction lines.
Well, if you deliver any seduction lines in that voice, chances are it will fail.
I know, but it's just part of the act. I think it'd be pretty funny.
You come here from heaven, baby, because you look like an angel.
Yeah, bring that vagina over here. Let me manipulate your flaps. Yes.
I want to give a rim job to your bonus hole.
How did we get here?
I don't know. Well, all of a sudden, we're aiming for the high score and like Space Invaders bonus hole. This is terrible.
Listen, I hope everybody loves the crazy off the wall banter that happens.
Well, the chat seems to like it right now. So
yeah, listen, man.
I love it.
What happens?
Which one slut see again? But you want that slut see hole? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You give it a little A, a little B, a little C, and then you stay away from the rest of the alphabet. And once you get to slot Z, you can't go back.
No, you're done. You got a duck pussy then.
Oh, what's really bad about this is that they've been here. This family, they've been here for a long time.
Really?
Their oldest children were in school in the German public schools, and their personality literally changed. He says here, we wanted to help them to grow in what they believed in and what we believe in, and not get basically indoctrinated with something we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And since they moved to the U.S., they had 2 more kids,
mm-hmm.
and 2 of their adult children are married to U.S. citizens.
Well, so those kids are they're stuck here. They can stay.
But I'm not sure if they're actually throwing everybody out or if it's just the parents, but it's still pretty messed up no matter how you look at it.
Well, typically, if you're married to a United States citizen, they technically might be able to temporarily throw you out.
Well, if there's anything this administration has taught us, and by the way, this bold here, right on the mark, is that the law is basically something in their way.
Yeah, and you are correct.
Somebody you don't like did something that you don't like, but it's not necessarily illegal. Just to artificially inflate a whole bunch of misdemeanors to felonies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are correct. I'm sorry.
Not like doing that to a former sitting president.
Yeah, I misspoke on that. I thought I was in rational land where the law was applied equally to everyone.
Well, that was the idea. But obviously, it's not the idea anymore.
Nope.
Bad news bears. Wow. And, on the flip side of things, if you have the correct amount of melanin in your skin, and if you don't get caught, you can get away with pretty much anything. Let's check this out. Black couple blames random white people for brutal injuries they inflicted on their toddler.
All right. So hang on. Okay. So this is a classic example of the left who literally has lost grip on reality. They're doing all kinds of bullshit, and they're blaming it on everyone else around them.
Yep.
This is the world we're in now.
And what's messed up is that this honestly sounds like an honest mistake. Because, kids, especially when they're young, will just fuck off and do whatever. They're not listening to you. From what I understand, I think it was a toddler kid, so he was like 2 to 3 years old. The guy was in his car, and they ran him over when he was backing out with his vehicle.
Oh, no.
I guess the kid was running behind the car or something.
Okay, that's bad.
I mean, I have been in the car when a friend of mine, I think we were like 5 at the time, he decided that he was going to jump out of the back seat into the driver's seat. And while he was pretending to drive, he's like, oh, look, a gear shift. Ka-chunk. And the car started backing into the road. Mom is on the front porch saying bye to whoever, has to run. And she slapped the shit out of him right in front of me for doing that.
Good. That's the way it should be.
Don't ever do that. He'll scare the shit out of me. I was like, maybe not. Maybe not. He go for the face. Don't go for the face, Mom. God.
Gut punch.
Yeah. But instead of just accepting the fact that they fucked up and they weren't keeping an eye on their toddler, they decided, well, we'll just blame it on random white folks. And this is how it went down here. According to authorities, Gates told him that a car driven by an unknown white female and male had pulled out of a parking spot at the Maverick on Maureen Apartments on Ridgeway and hit his son as he and his family were getting into their car. After Martinez was questioned by police, they claimed that the details of her account were different from Gates. So, mommy and daddy having 2 different stories. It's shocker they don't share the same last name. Oh, don't hit me.
Yeah.
Just saying. 75% born out of wedlock, just saying. Martinez was reportedly combative at the Fort Worth hospital and refused to give an interview to police. Forensic evidence showed that Gates had lied to police about the location of where his child had been hit because they found blood in the parking lot of their apartment complex, not across the street, which Gates had stated. Gates is now out on bond and informed police that he wanted to change his story and said that he accidentally backed over his son who had run behind the car. So it is just a legit mistake.
Yeah. So the kid's dead?
No, he's had injuries, but he's not dead.
Okay. All right, good.
And then the second statement was corroborated by 2 other children who were present in the car at the time of the incident.
Yeah, look.
Wow.
I mean, that's a terrible situation.
It is. But just accept that the shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. Kids do stupid shit. And
instead, they deliberately, they could have provoked a local race riot with this shit.
Oh, yes, they could have.
And the leftoids do this all the time. And because the blame game has been so firmly embedded into our brains, the white guilt bullshit, whiteys will just like kneel down and accept it. Oh, yeah, that sounds like something we would do. We my ass.
No. What the hell are you talking about?
Whatever happened to accountability and adulthood?
Well, that's part of the reason why we are where we are is we have a whole generation who literally has been coddled and entitled, and they have no accountability. They've never had to face repercussions for bad decisions and actions.
Yep. And then meanwhile, they're literally asking an entire race of people, the majority of the population in this country, to accept responsibility for shit that happened 200 years ago that we had nothing to do with.
Yeah, I don't even know if my relatives were in this country back then.
Mine weren't. I remember
Wow.
when I was a kid, somebody had tried to get my dad in on one of those genealogy grifts. You know, like, oh, we'll trace your heritage and find out that you were like Scottish royalty or some shit. Just keep sending us money and we'll do that. And they offered to print a book called Kleiners Since the Civil War. Like, my dad was like, that really wouldn't fly since we weren't here.
Yeah, no, but Kleiner is a pretty common name
And very German. Very
Yeah.
German.
Yep. Who knows? Maybe some of your relatives were goose stepping during World War II and World War One.
They were here by then.
Okay.
They were here by then because like my grandfather fought in World War II on the American side, so on and so forth. So
Gotcha.
it's a good time. So yeah, basically that whole white guilt thing, you can shove it up your ass because I don't want anything to do with it. And don't ask me to rim your bonus hole to try to get it out because I'm not doing it.
No, we're not doing that, man.
Oh! You're a lump of vomit. Disgusting.
Yeah, that whole lump of vomit thing. I was going round and round with one of my editors who's from England. And he's like, lump of vomit?
He didn't get it.
So I had to change some shit in the book, yeah.
So we got to change lump of vomit. We have to figure out lump of vomit and sandwich meat.
Oh, the funniest one, though, is because I'm a dyslexicist, is I was writing about him standing on the edge of this pond. And I'm like, a genital breeze blew across the pond. Oh, my God. That was hilarious.
Well, with that being said, I think I'm going to have to put this video up now that Digital Do sent us because you gave me the perfect segue into it.
Oh, God damn it.
I apologize to everybody who's about to watch this. I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm on vacation every single day because
And
no.
Wash they pussy in the world's sink, apparently.
Listen, I have seen that before many times at public beaches. It's disgusting, but it is what it is.
Just washing out their cobweb infested crevasse.
Their hosed out crevasse and probably washing out the putrid DNA that's been accumulating in there over the past several days.
Well, at her age, it's been fermenting.
Oh!
You could put a cork in it. And
Yeah.
put it in
Oh,
a storage.
God.
Oh, God. How did we get here, man? This is disgusting.
It's all right. It's all right. That's why they want. This is a man's show. We're here to talk a bunch of shit. I mean, that's the way it works, right? Yes, we cover news.
And
We
it
have
can
funny
always be worse.
stories. Yeah.
It could always be worse. Never ever assume that is as bad as it can get.
And we use the butts as bait to bring in the young men so we can convert them from dick thinking to logically thinking.
And apparently it works.
Yes.
Much to YouTube's chagrin, we are now building our subscribership back on the platform after the new pop culture has amassed over 21,000 views in less than 24 hours. So thank you guys if you've been sharing it out, what have you. I mean, whatever you guys are doing, it's working. Or if the video itself is organically gathering steam, awesome. Either way, it's always nice to spit back in the faces of people who have been trying to screw us now actively for about 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I believe we started doing camouflage operations in 2014, 15.
As soon as you started doing the lair was camouflage operation time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man. But you know what? We're talking about kids just now. Like no one likes to think about a kid getting hurt. And Digital Dude was kind enough to provide us with some cute videos of babies. So let's just check these out here. These are all just, we'll get us nice and built back up. We'll get you smiling, and then we'll just ruin your day all over again.
All right. Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh my God!
He's looking around.
How do you know that cake?
Oh my God! Look at this.
I remember when we were filming Phantom Holiday and you bought that cake.
Yeah.
It as a birthday cake. And I remember when we finished shooting, I was like, what are you gonna do with the rest of that? You gonna throw it out? You're like, no, I'm gonna eat that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
The
did.
whole thing, you're like, probably. And I hate myself afterwards.
Yeah, it actually took me 2 days to eat that whole thing.
2 days to eat a whole cake. All right. Well,
Yeah.
it's a lot of calories. I hope it was
Well,
worth
I was young back then. Now I can't do that.
Yeah, not so much. We got another one here. A big sister kissing little bro. It's adorable. I love this. Aw.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got this one here. It's a kid just hiding out, being all cute.
Doing his thing.
And the last one here. Every little kid loves doing this. And as an adult, sometimes if I'm on like a really, really like hefty dirt road, I find myself still doing it.
Here we go.
It's like, oh, look at the little boo-boo lip. He's like, oh, the ride's over.
Yeah, my daughters used to do the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's like a pre-programmed setting that all kids have, and a lot of us do just carry it into adulthood.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. You should always keep in touch with your inner child.
Yes, you should.
Just don't let it take over.
Well, here's the thing. If you keep in touch with your inner child and you maintain your comedy, you become way more resilient to the insanity of the world.
And that's exactly what we're trying to inoculate you guys against.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this poor gentleman here, I have a feeling that no matter how much insanity he has experienced in the past, it's about to go off the chain. Dallas mayor announces that he is becoming Republican because Democratic policies have exacerbated crime and homelessness. I don't see the lie. But
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. All right. We have these blue cities that have literally been shitholes for 50 or 60 years.
Minimum.
And they keep electing these fucking idiots who don't ever improve anything other than lining their pockets and the pockets of their cronies.
Yep.
Case in point, Baltimore. That place has not been a good place to hang out or do anything in for roughly within, was it 10 or 12 years after World War II ended, like the mid 50s.
Yeah.
And now we're 70 some odd years later, and that place is just run into the ground. And we're going to see the same thing happen to all of those cities that had these huge riots a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to turn into Detroit. Detroit's a shithole. I've hated Detroit ever since I moved into the suburbs of this accursed, wretched city that I'm stuck. It's the butthole of humanity. I live on the edge of the butthole of humanity.
Oh man, yeah, we're just all just rimming Detroit here in the suburbs.
Pretty much.
We're rimming humanity's butthole.
Hey, these are good restaurants on the rim.
Yeah, there's restaurants on the rim. All right, yeah. This food tastes like shit. Disgusting. What's hilarious though is that I'm sure this dude joined the Democratic Party because he wanted to be a tolerant liberal, right? Because liberals are obviously so tolerant, unless you're black and you wake up. So I have a feeling that a lot of these so-called tolerant liberals, because we've seen this a million times, they're suddenly going to start adding a hard G and a hard R onto a specific word that even we won't say on the show.
Yeah. There's no need for that word. In fact, the only person I would actually use that word on was the dude that was shagging my ex-wife while I was married to her, while I was recovering from wounds received in war.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I pretty much quit using that like in 8th grade ish. Yeah.
What you got to do.
And you grow up and you're like, you know what, this is stupid. I could just cut this out of my vocabulary. And
Yeah, you don't need it.
no.
What you do need, though, are facts. And I love it. Like, dude is obviously, he's seeing exactly what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's handling his business and he's doing what he thinks must be done for his own, the moral fiber, right? And he brings the receipts. And some of this I didn't even know. You got to check this out.
Oh, no.
American cities need Republicans, he says, and Republicans need American cities. When my political hero Theodore Roosevelt was born, only 20% of Americans lived in urban areas. By the time he was elected president, that share doubled to 40%.
Wow.
Today, it stands at 80. As America's cities go, so does America. Unfortunately, many of our cities are in disarray. Mayors and other local elected officials have failed to make public safety a priority or to exercise fiscal restraint. All true.
Yeah.
Most of these local leaders are proud Democrats who view cities as laboratories for liberalism rather than as havens for opportunity and free enterprise. That is a bitch slap spanking, and it's absolutely true.
And literally, I just said the same thing.
Yeah. Too often, local tax dollars are spent on policies that exacerbate homelessness, coddle criminals, and make it harder for ordinary people to make a living. And too many local Democrats insist on virtue signaling, proposing half-baked government programs that aim to solve every single societal ill for drastically increased taxes. And on finding new ways to thumb their noses at Republicans at the state or federal level. Enough. This makes for good headlines, but not for safer, stronger, more vibrant cities.
Well, here's another thing that the left is really good at is they put all of these hoops in your way to prevent you from doing stuff or make it so egregiously difficult that only the richest of the rich can afford to have it done. For instance, in California, you want to open a restaurant, it's going to take you 2 years. You're going to have like 4 or 5 meetings in regard while you're building the restaurant, and at any time they can say no and you're done. All of that money and time put into it is wasted.
Yep.
And I mean, if we want to get this economy turned around, we need to curtail that bureaucracy to a manageable level.
Amen to that. And we need to reunite the nuclear family. Seriously, the super majority of the problems that are tanking this country could literally be solved in 1 or 2 generations if you just reinstitute like fault divorce. You get rid of no-fault divorce, you remove social programs or put a time limit on social programs for single moms.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the incentives that these people see in destroying their families are gone. And guess what? People may actually fight to keep them again. That's the hope anyway. It might just be pie in the sky shit, but we all know what fatherless homes have given this country, and it's nothing but grief.
That is a understatement. I mean, if you go back and you look at the Uniform Crime Report from the 50s, before any of this craziness went on, there was very little, of this violent crime that we have going on. And it was during a time where there was actual blatant discrimination taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Now
and the reason for that,
yeah.
And the reason for that is that because there was actual discrimination going on, the Black family unit was actually among the strongest in the country.
Yeah.
They had the lowest rate of single mother homes before LBJ, El Blowjob, decided to go around pitching welfare to stay-at-home moms.
You mean the liberal blowjob guy? Yeah.
Yeah, the LBJ, the El Blowjob.
Because that's what he did. He blew America to get
he did. Well, this is also a dude who was notorious for whipping his dick out at the White House. Like LBJ couldn't have had more appropriate initials if he tried.
Yeah, you're right. That was weird. That was weird. But I don't know. I think you're right about the social programs. They got to cut those back. Listen. Remember we did System Surfer?
Oh yeah.
And literally, I went through and I looked up all of the welfare programs across the entire country, and I averaged them out, and I did some research in regards to these benefits and how much they would cost if you had to pay for them yourself. And some of these single mothers are literally living in a lifestyle equivalent to a $75,000 salary a year.
And that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and all they're doing is spreading their legs and dropping kids on the regular every 24 to 36 months.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, nowadays, I mean, there's very few places where you can actually get on with a $75,000 a year salary. Now, there's like a big chunk of people now who are living paycheck to paycheck who make six figures.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks, Bidenomics.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I just went shopping the other day, and my grocery bill was 42% higher than it was last year. And I pretty much always buy the same things because I'm a single dude and I don't give a shit. I'm
Yeah.
on the
Last
65
year,
hour
it was
plan.
higher than it was the year before. So we're
Yeah.
just marching off the cliff
Yeah.
right now.
We are getting hit in the bonus hole by the dictator in chief, who was appointed, not elected, in my opinion, of course.
And we have him on the line right now. Mr. Biden, what are your thoughts? That's what I thought.
That's what I thought. Blue screen of death.
Fuck that
Got it.
fucking
What a moron.
unelected piece of shiata.
Mhm.
Oh, man. But even though it's now okay to discuss that particular election that he stole, or that, you know, the globalist elites stole for him, as globalist butt buddies, as I like to call them, stole for him. Well, I'm waiting for them to reinstitute that policy. And a lot of it is because I can sense the preemptive cope coming for the next election. Might have something to do with the fact
it's already in there.
yeah, even from polling firms that are run by or at least financed by Disney, Trump is ahead of the polls by 10 points.
Correct.
That is insurmountable if it stays. They
Correct.
can't even rig an election if he's that far ahead.
Well, they could
So,
try.
Enter the twunt. Hillary Clinton warns
Oh my God, I hate this bitch.
deniers that Putin will interfere in the 2024 election. Yes, because they totally, after years of investigation, showed that this actually. Oh wait, they didn't, did they?
No.
Yeah, there was never any 2016 election interference, just a stolen 2020 election. But thank you for playing.
Yeah, Putin is going to interfere with our 2024 election. Come on.
I'm sorry, but I thought that people who denied the integrity of the elections in this country were insurrectionists who deserve to be held in solitary confinement for months or years on end without a trial. People who deserve 17 years in prison for shaking a fence. Meanwhile, the people just a couple years before that who literally set fire to buildings and put the White House in blackout mode, none of them got charged with jack shit.
Nope. No, they didn't. In fact, that one Capitol Police agent who executed that Air Force veteran at point blank range, nothing ever happened to that guy. That is just reprehensible.
Yeah, that dude better watch his back, because I have a feeling that at some point there's a very aggrieved husband who may just,
settle up. Listen, I've said it before. I'm using a historical example here. All right. If you can't get justice in the courts, at some point it's going to happen outside the courts.
Yep.
And listen, the people are getting very upset with the way the police are handling themselves. And once the right decides, basically gives up on the cops, it's going to be very bad for them.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we can pull back from this insanity. I literally do not relish living through chaos or interesting times, whatever you want to call it. I'm old. There's really fuck all I could do about it other than talk shit and point fingers.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Let's read some of what this twunt had to say. The election denying twunt. I love how, like when Trump does it, it's evil and it's horrible, and we gotta prosecute him with multiple felonies that he didn't commit. But Hillary Clinton can literally publish a book off of it and profit off of
Yeah.
election denial, and it's totally fine. And this isn't not me like me telling you guys that it would be more difficult to steal the next election. That's not me telling you to be complacent. Okay,
No.
don't have faith that what I'm saying is true. All right, I'm just trying to do my best not to dish out nothing but black pills. All right.
Yeah.
But I mean, no matter there were shenanigans in how many states the last time, and Trump still managed to score more votes than any incumbent in history, and only lost in a handful of states by just like maybe 100,000 votes.
That
That's it.
miraculously showed up after 11 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Exactly. Ugh. I mean, seriously, like 3 things fix this: national holiday, same day voting, paper ballots. That's it.
Correct. 100%.
That
And
used to be how things were. Then all of a sudden, Democrats were like, "Well, we can scam an entire country, and because they're stupid and have free port and 2-day shipping, they'll go along with it." And guess what? They were right
for now.
for now.
Mhm.
So here's what the twunt has to say. I don't think, despite all of the deniers, well, you mean the evidence, that
Yeah.
there is any doubt that he interfered in our election, or that he, meaning Putin, has interfered in many ways in the internal affairs of other countries. You mean like the CIA? Funding political parties, funding political candidates, buying off government officials in different places, like the Biden administration. He hates democracy, like the Biden administration. He particularly hates the West, and he especially hates us. Then why is he colluding with Biden to launder money in Ukraine?
Oh, hang on. All right. Hang on. Did she actually say that?
No, that's what I'm asking here.
All right. Okay.
But she says here, he hates democracy, he particularly hates the West, and he especially hates us. That's my question. If he hates the West so much, then why is he colluding with Biden to launder money in Ukraine? There's
Yeah.
no other reason to keep this fight going this long other than to keep laundering money.
Well,
I'm telling you, Nord Stream was a payoff, and then they sent Putin in, and then they reneged on the deal. But by then, you're committed.
I don't know.
It's just my theory. Could be wrong.
Well, Putin has actually been talking about taking over the Ukraine pretty much since day one when he showed up.
Oh yeah.
He was a KGB guy. He wants to go back to that, USSR style of government, I guess. But it's just not going to work out.
Especially because, I mean, when you really look at his history, he's only invaded when there's been a Democrat in office.
Yeah, pretty much.
And yet the guy who was supposedly his puppet was the only one who could keep him in line. I'm telling you, dude, proxy wars are where it's at for these globalist douchebags. They have figured out that they can get, taxpayers to sign on to a bullshit narrative and just part with their money overseas. It's all debt spending, but it makes the rich richer, and it crushes the rest of us under its fucking wheels. But
not to say you're wrong there, but holy
just
smoke.
keep printing it forever.
Well, no, they can't actually. That's
no, they can't. Well, that's what they think. And I actually know people who vote Democrat who think, well, why can't they just print more money? Then we'll have more money. Wow, your vote counts the same as mine.
Haven't I been talking about the left thinking that they live in Star Trek land where stuff just magically appears without any effort? You just push a couple buttons on a panel and it just appears. They think we live in that world, and that world does not exist. Everything on this earth, if it wants to see the sunrise, something the day before had to die to keep them here.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works.
Every time you sit down to a meal, you better give thanks to the animal that gave its life so that you could live.
That's right.
Just saying.
Every day. And I thank the man who wielded the bat that put the steak on my plate. Yummy.
Winning. And you know why? Because it's fucking delicious.
It is.
Yeah. It's quite fantastic. But You know what's even more delicious? The sheer cognitive disconnect of the modern leftoid.
Oh my God. It's legendary. It is legendary.
Are you ready for this? I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this. We've already talked about Hunter Biden, which is what I call him, trying to sue the IRS for like discrimination or some shit because he didn't pay his taxes while he was, in felony possession of a firearm and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But this one really takes the cake. He now wants to sue Rudy Giuliani for annihilating his digital privacy after publicizing the sordid contents of his laptop.
Well, I mean, he could try to sue Giuliani for this, but
it's not going to work, and I'll tell you exactly why.
Well, if number one, the guy left the laptop at the computer place where he signed a piece of paper. Yeah, he signed authorization that if it goes over 90 days, it becomes the property of the guy who owns the shop. I mean, that's just cut and dry.
You're damn right.
And listen, I'm sorry, he's an idiot, and there's videos of him smoking crack and committing pedophilia acts, and whatever craziness is going on in that family. But it's 100% his fault.
It is. It's 1,000% his fault. He literally took in a laptop full of criminal evidence.
Yeah.
And then left it.
What are you
relinquishing all of his rights to privacy because as soon as he didn't pick it up, that laptop was no longer his.
That's right.
It was theirs to do with whatever they fucking pleased. They gave it to Rudy Giuliani. Hey, guess what?
Yeah, and the guy made a copy of the stuff too.
Yeah, and just like Hillary, they claimed it was Russian disinfo without any evidence whatsoever.
They need to criminally prosecute all 51 of those so-called intel experts that said it was Russian disinformation, because they just flat out abused their authority and lied to the entire country.
Yep.
That is weapons grade treason.
Yes, it is treason. It's election interference. It is direct election interference.
It is. It's 100%.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to talk to Polska Bob directly in the chat. The problem is not my camera, it's your signal.
Yeah.
So get over it.
We're having problems.
Well, he says that I need to fix my camera. No, my camera is 1080p. It's filming just fine. I'm looking at my signal right here just fine, and I can read everything. I can tell that the video game behind me is Luigi's Mansion without even looking at it. So yeah, this is all just fine.
I mean, there is a little bit of choppiness on my end.
Well, I mean, it's coming through full high definition. So the problem then is probably StreamYard just condensing the signal down. It says connection is unstable, but I am directly plugged in. So I don't know why that would be, unless it's just my internet being crap.
Yeah, he's saying that I'm in crystal clear and you're blurry. Listen, Murphy showed up. It's just the way it is.
Murphy does happen. So
listen, his Plaguebringer son infected him, and he didn't want to come over here and infect me, which I appreciate greatly.
yeah, it's all good.
But I mean, listen, you have kids, they're all Plaguebringers. They go to the playground, they do what they're gonna do. They fuck around, wash your hands. They come home and stick them in your face, and daddy this, daddy that. Before you know it, you're clocking up loogies, and you got 101 fever, and you feel like Shiata.
Okay, yeah, I can see where it's for some reason it is coming a little bit weird on there. I'm not sure why you're coming through just fine and I'm not. Could be because I'm running everything.
Could be.
Listen, it's on my end, crystal clear.
Yeah, it's all good. We can only do what we can do.
Yeah, I don't get it. So sorry, bros, but there's nothing I can do. There's nothing wrong with the camera. It's apparently the internet connection. So
yeah, and it wouldn't be the first time we've had crazy internet around here.
No, it wouldn't be. It really wouldn't.
You got what, Comcast?
No, I have AT&T. I've got fiber optic here, so I should have really good internet.
Holy shit! My AT&T is off of copper lines, and it is some dog shiata.
Yeah, I'm seriously considering switching to Comcast as much as I don't want to, but
I got it.
Well, the thing is, I don't have a data cap on my on my internet, Comcast automatically puts one in there, and you can't get rid of it unless you go business internet, which is astronomically expensive.
Oh yeah, it gets really stupid.
It's a bunch of shiata.
Yep.
But no matter how bad it is, all right, no matter how shiata the internet is, it will never be as shit. Nothing will ever be as shit as this so-called study.
Oh, here we go.
I hope you're ready for this.
Oh, Lord.
Smart people, in quotes, were the first to get the COVID jab, study claims.
All right, hang on. All right.
Wow.
One of the most common strategies that the left uses is blame, shame, and guilt.
Yep.
They've had a lot of success in the past 60 years with this. That's why we are in the mess we're in. Listen, don't fall for it anymore. Just refuse to be shamed or guilted into silence. You're like, go fuck yourself. This is the truth on the ground. I don't care what your feelings are. Your feelings, in the grand scheme of things, are absolutely irrelevant.
Amen to that.
Oh, man.
Ugh.
How did I become the voice of fucking reason, man? I used to be an evil genius. I mean, I was just a raging asshole as a child. How did I become the responsible one? This has been a weird journey.
It very much is, yeah. I don't understand it, but I do know that this is one of the dumbest things that I've ever seen. So here it is. This is their so-called study.
Here
Smart
we go.
people first in line for COVID. What? Where'd you go? Pop, where'd you go? He just left the studio. Apparently he X'd out of something he wasn't supposed to X out of. So I'll read this while we're waiting for him to come back. Oh, here he goes. Are you there?
Bounced out.
Yeah, I could see that.
What are you going to do, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. I have no idea what that happened.
Well, Murphy showed up. And
yeah, Murphy definitely showed up. So apparently it might be a StreamYard thing. Who knows?
It also could be somebody in the background not liking what we're talking about.
Could be. Who knows?
Yeah. Listen, I know I'm on a list. I know there's alphabet agencies watching me. It just is what it is.
Yep. Murphy strikes again, man. All right. So here we go. Smart people first in line. Smart people first in line for COVID-19 vaccine study suggests a total of 80% of the most intelligent people were vaccinated within 40 days of the Kung flu vaccine availability, compared with 180 days for those with the lowest cognitive ability.
Again, this is the guilt thing.
Yep.
Like, people are like, I'm not a low IQ individual. I'll show you. I'm going to go get this jab.
Yeah.
This is 100% manipulation propaganda right here.
That's how you know it's propaganda.
This is.
It's absolute horseshit.
It is.
And of course, they have to tout their sample size and all that stuff. When really, if you torture any methodology, you can get any results you want.
Correct.
That's what people do. There's lies, damn lies, and statistics. That's an expression for a reason. So here it is. Uppsala University researchers assessed the relationship between cognitive ability and prompt Kung flu vaccination among 750,000 men and 3,000 women who registered for military service in Sweden from 1979 to 1997. The team used intelligence test data from the Swedish military archives and got the so-called results that they're talking about here. So let me just boil this down for you here, what they're expecting you to believe, all right? They're expecting you to believe that the most intelligent among us are going to rush right out because they're not going to do any research on their own. They probably don't even know what mRNA is. They're just going to believe whatever the talking heads on TV tell them and take something that's untested, unvetted, and potentially poisonous to your very genetic code.
Well, they did test it on 8 mice.
Yeah, that's smart.
Correct.
according to this so-called study, to just believe whatever you are told by the scientists and go get your poison jab.
Wow.
No, but the idiots are the ones who decided to wait to see if there would be adverse side effects. Those people are the idiots. You see how this falls apart when you just point out one thing?
Well, listen, when Trump was talking about this vaccine, I immediately went and looked it up. I did a lot of the, basically backwards planning research on exactly how this stuff was tested. And what I found was exceedingly frightening, meaning that yes, the vax worked initially. And then a year and a half later, due to other illnesses, all of the animals in the test pool died.
Yep.
That is not good.
No, it is not.
I do not trust experimental anything because I have been the guinea pig when I was forced to take the anthrax in the army, and I absolutely despised it. And every time I go into the VA, there are flyers on the wall, or they handed these little pamphlets about all of the negative things that could happen if you got the anthrax vaccine. So there you go.
Yeah, and what's really funny is that most of these, like the prior anti-vax movement, regarding children, was primarily spearheaded by leftoids, and they actually had a valid point. And then these were the same people to shame you and agree with government talking heads like Trudeau and Biden, etc., that if you don't get this one particular vaccine, you should lose your job. You shouldn't be allowed to travel. You shouldn't be allowed to go out in public without being harassed.
Whatever happened to my body, my choice?
Yeah, exactly. How is that intelligent to just go along with the herd? I mean, unless I see a whole platoon of rats running in one direction, I mean, then you go with the herd because they can usually sense when danger is coming. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, there's something fucked up coming from that way. I'll probably stick with the rats, but that's really about the only time.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, man. It's insane.
And check this out. I love that they included this in the article. Errant belief number 6. This comes from an article on cult membership from a leading cult expert, Steve Hassan. Errant belief number 6. He's too intelligent to join a cult. Cults thrive to the extent that they can recruit intelligent, dynamic people. Many have had a hard time believing that bright, talented people could fall under the control of a cult. But cults intentionally recruit valuable people that are intelligent, caring, and motivated. Most of the former cult members I have met are exceptionally bright, with an active imagination, a creative mind, and the capacity to focus their attention and enter deep states of concentration. Most are idealistic and socially conscious. They want to make the most of themselves and to make a positive contribution to the world.
Woodward,
play on
Scientology.
That. Yep, Scientology. Shit, man, look at Charles Manson. He got women to do some really, really fucked up shit. And then after that became known.
I mean, he was exceptionally smart too. So
yeah, women were sending him marriage proposals in prison.
That's actually fairly common.
Yeah. Jail. Anyway, again, sorry about my camera, dudes. Nothing I can do about it. I don't know why my internet connection right now is currently rating as unstable, even though I'm directly plugged in, which means it's probably my internet service itself or something going on with StreamYard. It is what it is. As long as you can hear me, that's most important.
Yeah. Well,
I got ugly mug. This is not important right here. Oh, and we saved the best for last. And this one actually should scare you guys a little bit. Actually, wait a minute, maybe not scare you, but answer a lot of questions that maybe you've been keeping inside. More than a third of Democrats think Americans have too much freedom.
That's because they want communism and socialism. They literally want this country to be like China.
Yeah. And this is actually a very, very short study, so we can read you the whole thing. I'll throw this up here so you guys can see it. All right. A survey found 34% of Democratic voters believe that Americans possess too much freedom compared to 14.6% of Republican voters. I'm sorry, both of these should be 0.
Correct.
Although an overwhelming portion of U.S. voters believe that freedom of speech protections are beneficial, 52% of Democrats believe it is important that the government be able to censor users and content on social media platforms it feels threatens national security. Well, when you can literally just call anything a threat, like people being escorted around the White House.
Yeah. Listen, this is one of the main reasons I cut the liberal people out of my life.
Amen to that.
I literally all right. Let's go back in time here. All right. Before the United States was formed, the entire human population had been brutalized and, brought to the verge of extinction in certain areas from basically kings, queens, royalty, what have you, where literally they could just spout out an edict and it became law. People were burned at the stake, hung, put in cages, put on the rack, broken on the wheel. I mean, it was very common for people who worked for the king to show up in your town and take everything and call it tax. And people got fucking sick of it.
Yeah.
Right? And literally, we came to the United States when we're doing our own thing. People are like busting their ass, making their homesteads, their farms, carving out a living out of the goddamn wilderness. And you had a king on the other side of the ocean passing edicts and trying to enforce that shit here. And people said, you know what? We're not having this. In fact, we're going to come up with a constitution that's going to spell out exactly what our rights are. And those rights come from God and cannot be taken away. And now we have a whole bunch of weak sheeple that want to go back to that system. Well, no fucking thank you. I'm good. I paid attention in school. I know exactly what's going on here. And it's literally the weak people of the left. They want to have their safety. They want to have the security, and they're willing to sacrifice all of our freedoms for that. Well, if you do that, you deserve neither, in my opinion.
Amen to that.
I'm off the soapbox.
All right. Soapbox has been vacated. Oh, here's another one. 75% of Democrat voters believe the government should censor hateful social media content.
Oh, and listen, they're calling hateful content when you misgender somebody. You refuse to use their pronouns.
Yeah, or basically
out of hand.
I'm sorry, but not placating your mental illness is not a phobia.
Correct.
All right. Let's just take care of that right now.
I'm definitely I refuse to participate in. And I actually have one of my former liberal friends who's in the middle of transitioning, and the dude's he's crazier than a tub of nut butter. And I hope he gets the help that he needs to, put him back on the right path. But at his age, he's like 2 or 3 years older than me. And
I doubt it. I think he's done.
Yeah. I mean, at that age, you start pumping that kind of chemicals in your body, you are going to die early.
Oh yeah, he's probably going to get the big C word. He probably got the coof jab too. So you combine those two, and the fact that he's going to have to go on immunosuppressants if he decides to go full tilt retard with this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And it's going to be self-inflicted.
Correct. And my listen, I knew him in high school. He's a good guy. I'm sorry he's going through this, but I am not going to placate a mental illness. Number one. Number two, you're looking at a guy who's had probably a couple dozen substantial concussions, a TBI when I got blown up with a minor stroke. On top of that, before it all happened, I had dyslexia. If you think I'm actually going to remember your pronouns, you're out of your goddamn mind. Because most of the time, I won't even remember your goddamn name.
There you go.
I will have to give you a nickname, and once that happens, I'll never forget you. But I won't remember your name. That's why
I changed it back to Video Dude.
Yeah. I called you Video Dude for what, 3-4 years?
At least.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So what are the other things here in this study? 46% of Republican voters believe Americans have too little freedom. That I agree with, but that number should be much higher.
Correct.
Half of Republican voters strongly agree with the sentiment that I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it, compared to less than a third of Democrats.
That's right.
Wow.
They're weak. Listen, if there's any Democrats in the show watching this, listen, I'm not attacking you directly. This is just a generalized comment. Anecdotal evidence from my experience with Democrats and the left. They are physically and mentally and spiritually corrupted and weak, in my opinion.
You're not wrong. Ugh. And as always, these sources are available to you on Redonkulas.com. If you guys want to check it out after the stream, you go and click on that view your content page on the front link on the front page, and it'll take you right to a listing of all the live streams and videos. Feel free to check every single source, especially if you're one of our hate watchers who likes to downvote everything we do.
Well, listen, it doesn't matter what we do. We always get anywhere from 10 to 21 people who downvote our videos.
It never fails.
Yeah, and I have that one. There's this one girl who makes these reaction videos to me all the time, and I can't tell if it's a girl or a dude. It looks like Pat, but it is what it is.
I think I know who you're talking about. I'm pretty sure it's a chick or a biological bonus hole keeper, whatever the hell you want to call it.
I think she calls her channel Chud Watch. I'm like a chud or something, I guess.
Very ironic considering what she looks like.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, I've had people call me all kinds of crazy shit, and I really don't care. I'm in this business to save lives, and I believe I'm making headway despite the fact that I cannot advertise my services pretty much anywhere because it's too politically incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Quite ridiculous, really, when you think about it. Anyway, how about you want to get into some chats? Read some chats here, and then we'll take a quick break.
Yeah, let's get through the YouTube chats.
Yeah, we'll do.
We got quite a few, didn't we?
Looks like not a ton here, but maybe it looks like about 8. Carrie Big speaks soft. You saw all those black people clapping for Trump when he was going to prison in Georgia in a positive way, as if they supported Trump. Many of them do now, which I find hilarious. It took getting persecuted by the government to actually start supporting him. It's kind of funny. If you actually believe that every single major metropolitan area went for Biden in 2020, which we all know, Wayne County, which, home to Detroit in this state, Trump was winning it magically until about 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to bed thinking it was in the bag, and I woke up just devastated.
Yep. And then as soon as you saw the math, you're like, that's mathematically impossible.
Yes, like literally there's a better chance for life spontaneously erupting from nothing than what I saw happen with the whole election ballot thing.
Yeah, but there's no evidence for it yet. Just the videos, the sworn affidavits for which nobody has been prosecuted because they didn't lie, all that stuff.
Well, they have that. They found that one, what is it? The election ballot harvesting gig up in Saginaw, which has been ignored.
Exactly. And they like that all.
Yeah.
Bart Fine. No one can shame me. I was married for 6 months. That's a good one there. Andrew Casey, I love you guys. Any chance you could upload that 5 to 10 second video clips of several Karens and feminists yelling at once as a YouTube short? If it's something you found, could you tell us where you found it? Yes, I absolutely can tell you where I found it. If you do a search on YouTube for liberal meltdown cringe mishmash, that is the exact title of the video. You should be able to find it on there. The one that I did in the new pop culture, though, because the audio levels on this are so egregious, I substituted it out with barking and howling dogs, and I actually thought it was funnier that way. The new life. Enjoy a shot on me, Pop, and listening to you guys since 2018. Thanks for speaking the truth while being entertaining.
All right.
Thank you very much, good sir. Gray Man Media, don't speak too soon. Baltimore's murder rate is actually lower than last year's. It's declining, though that might be due to people moving out of Baltimore. Or, the fact that they're not prosecuting crimes anymore.
Well, yeah. And listen, if you're not going to prosecute, all right, now hang on. All right. Do I think we have too many fucking laws on the books? Yes, we do. It is insane. We have so many people in prison for victimless crimes that, we are, literally our legal system is, let's just be honest, it's cornered the market on tyranny.
Yep.
Okay. Now, on top of that, you have the police officers, you have the prosecutors, the judges, and the lawmakers who have this thing called qualified immunity, which is not a law. It has been cooked up by the courts, where they literally operate outside the Constitution of the United States to fuck you, and there's nothing you can do to them. All right, that's only going to happen for so long, until people can't feed their families or they start losing their houses, and then all bets are going to be off. And historically speaking, those people are going to become the center of attention, negative attention. I'm just telling you.
You are not wrong. Oh, man. Let's jump back in here. We got Chris as genitalman. Here's to tripling your income. Keep up the great work.
I got to write that
Genitalman. Mike 6206 says, back from a space ghost break. Excellent. Hope you got some titties while you were in there. Chris says, use this to upgrade from Jitterbug internet. I'm going to do my best. It's so weird. Like my internet was phenomenal and usually is, and then just like for the last month or two it has been like very hit and miss, so I'm not sure what the heck the deal is. I don't know if I need to be like if I need to just not have this going on in the background or whatever, if I'm using too much bandwidth or something while I'm trying to upload, but I don't know, it kind of sucks. But I've been noticing it happening while even stuff like this is not going on, like random buffering on stuff, downloads taking forever. I don't get it. That does it for the chats over on YouTube. We got 454 people still watching over there. 621 on Rumble, just destroying YouTube with the numbers tonight.
All right.
40 over on Odyssey. 69 on MGTOW.tv. Yeah.
Dirty bastards.
Yeah, that's very fitting. D Live is rocking 10, Twitch has 17, and the Kickster is rocking 12.
All right. It's not bad. Those are respectable numbers.
Not bad at all. So I think we're going to take a little break here, listen to some Jeffrey Paul tunes, and then we're going to go over to New Tech and read your guys' chats. Remember, 3x3 rule is in effect. And we're going to try to do the relevant chats first, if for any other reason, just because it's always nice when the chats actually talk about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So enjoy the tunes. And Jimmy Bones is going to paste those links in the YouTube chat so you guys can follow us on over. Better butts and some good times ahead. So you see you in a bit.
All right.